Chosen one, tell me something. Have you felt it lately? The strange stillness, the shifting air, the quiet ache in your soul that you can't explain to anyone else. It's not anxiety, it's not confusion, it's something deeper, something sacred, like a divine tremor moving beneath your skin. You wake up and even in the silence, there's this hum, a pulse, a knowing. You sense that something is coming and something in you is being summoned. You're not alone. And no, you're not imagining it. What you're feeling is real. The shift has already begun, and this message, these words, are reaching you now because the timing is divine. You didn't click this by chance. You were led here, drawn by a whisper older than time. Because you are not just anybody, you are one of the chosen ones. And what's unfolding right now is going to touch your life in ways you don't yet understand. Let me ask you a harder question. Have you been feeling forgotten by destiny? Like you missed the train, missed your timing, and now you're just trying to hold on while everyone else seems to move forward? You smile in public, but inside there's this silent ache. You wonder, is it too late for me? You wonder if the divine plan has already passed you by. But deep down, you know something isn't over. There's more, but you don't know how to reach it. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've stopped hoping. Maybe you've tried everything and all you've got left is silence and surrender. But let me tell you something. God speaks in the silence. And sometimes the pause is not punishment. It's preparation. You haven't been forgotten. You've been hidden. And now the shift is calling you out of hiding. You see, this video is not just information. It's a mirror, a moment, a message wrapped in divine timing. If you're feeling this in your bones, comment 111 or 777 below. That's not for the algorithm. It's for your own soul to mark this moment, to say, yes, I hear it, I feel it, I know this is for me. This space we've created here, it's not just a video, it's sanctuary, a place you can return to whenever the world gets too heavy. You are not here to survive the storm. You are here to remember who you were before the world tried to dim your light. You are here to wake up again. And this message is your sacred confirmation, your proof that it's not too late, that you are not too broken, that your time has not passed. You're right on schedule with divine timing, even if everything in the natural tells you otherwise. Chosen one, let me be clear. This video isn't for the crowd. It's not for everyone. It's for the one whose heart has been breaking quietly, for the one who kept going even when no one saw, for the one who has been aching to remember. If that's you, then stay. Now I'll ask you something serious. You have a choice right now. You can click away, go back to the noise, the scrolling, the distraction, and lose the clarity your soul's been crying for. Or you can stay until the end. Stay and receive the words that were meant to confirm what your spirit already knows. And if you do, you'll walk away lighter, stronger, remembering. So I invite you, don't just watch. Subscribe if you know this space is something your soul has needed. Because every time your spirit forgets, you'll find a place waiting here for you again. A space that speaks your language. A place where your awakening is not just understood, it's celebrated. Stay with me now. What comes next will change how you see everything. You see, the world doesn't announce spiritual change with noise and headlines. It comes like a tremor beneath your life, like the sudden silence before a storm. Something invisible begins to rearrange the ground beneath your feet. The shift has started, not as a theory or an idea, but as a living reality inside your soul. And the strange part is, you've felt it for a while now, haven't you? A pressure that isn't physical, but emotional. An inner weight you can't name. a sense that something old is ending, and something unseen is waiting for your yes. The chosen ones are always the first to feel it, not because they're better, but because they're wired to detect what others ignore. They carry a spiritual sensitivity that makes the unseen real, the silent loud. So when the atmosphere begins to change, when heaven starts moving in quiet ways, it's the chosen who feel the ripple first. That restlessness in your chest, the disconnection from people and places you once loved, the feeling that your current life can no longer contain your calling. All of it is part of the shift. But what exactly is shifting? On the surface, everything might look the same. Your routine, your job, the people around you, they haven't changed. And yet you can feel it. That tug in your spirit, that divine discontent, that strange knowing that the version of yourself you've been carrying is starting to feel outdated. It's not that you're lost, it's that your soul is waking up, and it can no longer fit inside the life that once felt comfortable. You might find yourself withdrawing, not because you're antisocial, but because your spirit is in transition. You can't explain it to those around you. They wouldn't understand. But deep down you feel it. Your assignment is shifting. Your identity is being rewritten. The heavens are making room for who you are becoming. This is where it gets hard, because spiritual awakenings don't come with a manual, they come with mystery, and the chosen ones are often forced to walk through the fog while others are still living in the sun. You're being called not with words, but with silence, with unease, with that aching space between who you were and who you're meant to be. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake the discomfort for punishment when it's actually your invitation to ascend. Let me show you something. When a tree begins to grow new branches, the old ones must release their grip. There's tension before transformation. The same is true for you. This tension you feel is spiritual stretching. You're being asked to hold space for the next level of your life, even before you can fully see it. And here's where many fall asleep again. They feel the shift, but they run from it. They medicate it with distractions. They bury it in routine. But the chosen ones cannot ignore it for long. It won't let them rest. Because your soul didn't come here to coast. It came to evolve, to awaken, to remember. And the shift is the alarm clock sent by the divine to wake you up. The shift is also separating, not to hurt you, but to make you holy. People who once felt like home will start to feel like noise. Environments that once inspired you may now feel spiritually suffocating. That's not failure. That's realignment. You're not being abandoned, you're being aligned. And it's important to understand this. The shift is not external first, it's internal. Before doors open, your soul has to. Before your assignment expands, your identity must deepen. This season isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. It's not about chasing purpose, it's about embodying it. So if you've been feeling strange, disconnected, like a stranger in your own life, it's not something wrong with you, it's something right with you. You're being reconfigured from within. You're being calibrated to a new frequency. You are not behind. You are being rebuilt. Don't ignore the alarm. Don't talk yourself out of what your spirit already knows. You are not here by accident. You are here because you're part of something bigger than your pain, bigger than your fear. You are part of a sacred uprising that heaven has already begun. The shift has started, and if you're feeling it, it means your soul is one of the keys. Remember, chosen one, your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a compass. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. The call is real, and it's not just asking you to listen, it's asking you to respond. Let me tell you something most won't say aloud. When God calls, He does so in mercy. But when we delay, there is a price. Not a punishment. No, God is not cruel. But there are consequences to spiritual hesitation. You see, the shift is not just a wave of awakening. It's also a sacred sorting. A moment when the chosen ones must rise or risk dissolving into a life that was never meant for them. There are chosen ones right now, exactly 50, maybe more, maybe less, who feel the stirring but have stayed still. And that stillness, when commanded to move, becomes spiritual resistance. These are the ones who've seen signs, heard whispers, felt the pull. They've cried for purpose but said no to the path. Not always outwardly but inwardly, with excuses, fears, distractions. They were meant to walk in power by now. But instead, they're tangled in delay. You may wonder, why 50? It's not just a number, it's a symbol. 50 in the spirit represents a threshold, a crossing point, a season of release and responsibility. And when the shift arrives, that number represents the ones who are exactly on the edge, close enough to destiny to hear it calling, but still clinging to the life that numbs their truth, still caught in cycles that were supposed to end long ago, still too afraid to surrender what's comfortable for what's holy. Tell me, chosen one, are you one of the 50? Have you felt the urgency, but convinced yourself it was just emotion? Have you seen the signs, but told yourself, maybe later? Have you sensed the prompting to speak, to act, to break away, but sat still out of fear that you'll fail or be misunderstood? This is not judgment. This is an invitation to honesty. Because if you are one of them, your window is still open, but it's narrowing, and your spirit knows it. The danger isn't losing favor with God. The danger is losing alignment with yourself, losing the opportunity to walk in the version of you heaven designed before your birth. Delay is not neutral. It weighs on the soul. It breeds doubt. It clouds vision. And it dulls the sharp edge of spiritual sensitivity until you forget what it felt like to burn with divine purpose. Some of the chosen ones have already begun to feel the consequence, the heaviness, the internal tension that doesn't go away. The dreams that used to excite them now feel distant. The relationships that once made sense now feel empty. Why? Because they've overstayed in old timelines, and heaven has moved on, waiting for them to catch up. You see, God doesn't abandon, but He does allow pressure, not to harm but to push. The weight you feel in your chest is not anxiety. It's sacred urgency. It's heaven pressing on your ribs, saying, it's time. And if you ignore it, you risk becoming someone who once heard God but no longer recognizes His voice. There's a cost to spiritual delay, not because God withdraws love, but because you withdraw presence. You drift, you sleep, you settle, and life becomes mechanical, hollow, numb. That's the true danger. That's what the 50 are facing. But here's the good news. If you're watching this, if these words are finding your heart, it means your name is still being called. It means you can choose again. You can shake off the fog. You can fall to your knees and whisper, yes, God, I'm ready. And that one surrender can reset the entire rhythm of your destiny. Don't let delay rob you of the life you were born to live. Don't let fear convince you that your assignment is optional. It isn't. You were marked for this, and your yes isn't just for you. It's for the souls attached to your obedience. The price is real, but so is the redemption. Wake up now. Stand up now. Say yes now, before the window closes and your soul grows quiet from years of ignored calling. There's still time, but only if you move. Tell me something, chosen one. Have you looked around lately and wondered if you're too late? If the doors have already closed? If your destiny passed you by while you were still healing, still surviving, still trying to make sense of your past? I know that ache. I know the silence that comes with midlife, the questions that echo louder than ever, the feeling that maybe you missed your moment. But let me show you a deeper truth. Midlife isn't the end of your spiritual journey. It's the awakening of it, the shift that's happening right now. It wasn't meant to meet you in your youth. It was destined to find you here. At this age, In this season, with this level of wisdom etched into your bones, you are not behind. You are becoming. And if you've been feeling forgotten by destiny, it's only because you've been hidden for divine timing. The world told you that your best years were in the past, but the Spirit says now is when the real journey begins. You see, God doesn't rush purpose. He prepares it in layers. And the first half of your life wasn't a waste. It was the groundwork. Every heartbreak, every delay, every time you were told you're too much or not enough, none of it was punishment. It was shaping, sculpting, stripping away what the world put on you so that the truth of who you are could rise. This is why so many chosen ones begin to awaken at midlife, because finally, the noise starts to fall away. The masks begin to slip. You stop performing for the world and start listening to your own soul again. And what you hear is not regret, it's remembrance. Something ancient stirring inside you saying, now. It's time. Too late? Number midlife is the hour of activation. The point where heaven says, you've seen enough of the world. Now let me show you who you really are. And the most dangerous lie you can believe in this moment is that your season has passed. Don't fall for that. Because the enemy fears the chosen one who rises after life tried to bury them. The chosen one who says, even now, I still believe. Even now, I still surrender. Even now, I still rise. If you've been walking through a fog, unsure of where to go, unsure of what's left for you to give, breathe. The fog isn't failure. It's the veil before the vision. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're on the edge of the divine unfolding. The shift has started, and your name is still written in the script. You didn't miss the call. You're being recalled. There's a strange beauty in awakening now. Because now, your surrender isn't immature. It's seasoned. It's real. You've tasted life's disappointments. You've walked through pain. And yet here you are, still watching, still listening, still believing. That kind of faith shakes kingdoms. Let me tell you something you need to hear with your whole heart. Your destiny didn't expire. It was preserved, reserved, protected from the versions of you that weren't ready yet. And now, it's knocking again. This time, not with fireworks, but with a whisper, a sacred invitation to trust that your timeline was never broken. It was just divine. So if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you've been hearing the inner stir, feeling that quiet call, don't brush it off. That's not your imagination. That's your Creator reaching for you again. Not because you failed, but because now you finally have the depth to carry what's next. Midlife is not the end of your purpose. It's the beginning of your remembering, the beginning of your real power. And the shift is calling you into alignment, not with who you were, but with who you've always been becoming. Let your soul say yes again. You haven't missed your moment. You are the moment. And now, it's your time to walk it out. You see, chosen one, there's a wound deeper than failure, a weight heavier than fear. It's shame, and most don't talk about it, but you've carried it, haven't you? Quietly, carefully, like something sacred and broken that no one else could touch. You've buried it beneath your strength, your responsibilities, your silence, and yet, no matter how far you've come, it follows. That old voice whispering, you're not worthy. Not after what you did, not after who you used to be. But let me tell you something holy. God never asked you to be perfect. He asked you to be present. And the shame you've been hiding from Him, He already saw it. He saw the mess, the moments you fell, the choices you regret but can't take back. He saw it all, and still He called you chosen. Still He placed a mantle on your life. The shift that's happening right now isn't about performance, it's about purity. Not the kind the world defines, but the kind born through fire. Purity that says, I've been broken, but I'm still here. Purity that grows in the soil of surrender. You're not disqualified by your past. You're made deeper because of it. The very shame you thought would disqualify you is the evidence of your spiritual hunger. Only the awake feel shame. Only those who care enough to heal can be pierced by regret. And that means you're already halfway free. Tell me, when was the last time you wept and didn't apologize for it? When was the last time you let yourself be seen by God without trying to hide the cracks? You don't have to fix yourself before you're worthy of the calling. You just have to be honest. You just have to show up. Because God does his deepest work in surrendered vessels, not perfect ones. Midlife is where this shame shows up the loudest. Not because you've done more wrong, but because now you're aware. You've lived. You've seen the pattern. You've replayed the moments. And it feels like you're carrying the weight of all the things you wish you could undo. But listen to me, chosen one. Nothing you've lived disqualifies you from divine purpose. Nothing. The past doesn't own you. It shaped you. It taught you. It softened the parts of you that are now ready to lead, to speak, to heal. And God's not asking for a version of you that doesn't exist. He's asking for the one you are now, the one who knows pain, the one who walks with a limp, the one who's done hiding. Let the shame go. Let the lie go. That voice that says, you're too damaged, too late, too far gone. It is not God's voice. That is the echo of your old identity. And today, the shift is pulling that lie out by the root. You are not unworthy. You are not forgotten. You are the one he still calls. So I'll ask you something bold. If these words are stirring something deep inside, if you feel the tears rise and the ache surface, comment 444 right now. Not for me, for you. As a mark in the spirit, as a sign that you're ready to step out of the shame and into the light. You see, the chosen ones don't just heal others, they heal themselves first. And that healing starts with truth, with the courage to say, yes, I've messed up, but I'm still chosen. That sentence has the power to break every chain that shame ever wrapped around your soul. God is not ashamed of you. He's waiting to walk with you through the very place you've been avoiding. And when you do, you'll find that the shame wasn't your prison. It was the doorway. And freedom was always on the other side. Let it break you open. Let it wash you clean. Let it remind you that you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. And the real you, the surrendered, scarred, sacred you, is exactly who God chose. This is your moment. Come out of hiding. Shame is not your name anymore. Chosen one? Let me ask you gently, how long have you been sitting in silence, wondering if God has forgotten you? You pray, and the heavens stay quiet. You ask for a sign, and all you get is stillness. It feels like waiting, but deeper. Like being wrapped in fog while everyone else seems to hear clearly. But I want you to know something that most never realize. Silence is not absence. Silence is sacred. And if you've been feeling hidden, hushed or paused, it's not because you're off path. It's because you're right on time. You see, before any great assignment begins, God draws his chosen ones into silence, not to isolate them, but to prepare them, to teach them how to hear the whisper when the world gets loud, to remove the distractions, the idols, the need for applause. The silence doesn't mean you've done something wrong, it means you're being refined. And only those with high callings are trusted with this kind of holy stillness. Look at the pattern. Moses spent 40 years in the desert before the burning bush. David tended sheep in solitude before becoming king. Even Jesus spent 30 quiet years before stepping into public purpose. If the Son of God needed silence before his revealing, why would it be different for you? The silence is a womb, not a tomb. It's where the new version of you is forming. It's where the old voices fade so you can hear the one true voice that matters. And it's where God gets your full attention, not to scold you, but to speak the deep things that only solitude can hold. But I know it's hard. I know the silence can feel like abandonment, especially when you see others walking in purpose, receiving answers, making moves. You sit and wonder, what about me? But what if I told you, your delay is not a denial? What if I told you that this pause is packed with purpose? That what looks like nothing is actually everything? In the silence, your identity is being rebuilt. The wounds that once defined you are being redefined. The false timelines, the pressure to catch up, the comparison, it all starts to fall away. And what remains is you, the real you. The one who doesn't need a platform to be powerful, the one who can stand in the dark and still believe in the light. Many people run from this silence. They distract themselves. They try to force progress. But the chosen ones are trained in patience, because your assignment is not ordinary and your preparation cannot be rushed. You are being trusted with something weighty, something sacred, and God will not send you into battle until the oil has soaked deep into your soul. So if it feels quiet, stay. If nothing seems to be happening, stay. Don't try to escape it. Don't curse it. Let it do its work. The silence is your sanctification, your sharpening, your sacred classroom, and what you gain here you'll carry forever. Tell me, have you forgotten what you asked for? You prayed to be used. You asked for alignment. You begged for clarity. And this silence is the answer. It's not a wall. It's a door disguised as stillness, and only those who remain will see it open. This is not the end. It's the deep breath before the calling, the still moment before the trumpet sounds. And when it does, you'll look back and see how heaven was moving the whole time, just quietly, inside you. Let this chapter remind you, if you are in a season of silence, it is not punishment. It is preparation, and God is still speaking, just not with words. He's speaking through rest, through peace, through the aching spaces, through the way your spirit is slowly softening into surrender. So take heart, chosen one. You haven't been overlooked. You've been over-prepared. And when your name is called, you'll rise with power, not because you rushed, but because you waited well. Let the silence be your teacher. Let it remind you who you are, and let it shape the fire that's coming next. Tell me, chosen one, have you ever asked why it had to hurt so much? Why your life has been carved by such deep sorrow, such piercing loneliness, such relentless breaking? It's not because you were weak. It's not because you were forgotten. It's because you were chosen. And pain has always been the language heaven uses to mark the ones set apart. You see, in a world that runs from pain, the chosen ones are called to walk through it. Not because suffering is the goal, but because transformation is. Emotional pain for us isn't random, it's sacred. It's the fire that burns away what is false. It's the mirror that forces us to see what we've been avoiding. It's the chisel in the hands of God, shaping us into something eternal. Most people avoid pain. They numb it, ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist. But the chosen ones, they feel it all, deeply, fully, sometimes to the point where it seems unbearable. But that depth is not a curse, it's a calling. It means your heart is open enough to carry others. Your soul is tender enough to channel divine light. You don't feel deeply because you're broken. You feel deeply because you were built to carry something bigger. There's something sacred about the ones who've been through the fire and didn't lose their softness. The ones who've been rejected, abandoned, betrayed, and still choose love, still choose faith. Still choose to get up every day when their spirit feels like it's barely breathing. That kind of soul doesn't just survive. It radiates the kind of power that can't be faked, the kind that hell fears. You're not here despite the pain, you're here because of it. Your tears watered the soil where your purpose now grows. Your heartbreak stretched your spirit wide enough to hold heaven, and the ache you carry, It's the evidence that your life has meaning. Let me show you something. If you were never wounded, you'd never need healing. And if you never needed healing, you'd never know the depth of God's grace. And if you never knew that grace, you'd never have the oil to pour into others. The pain you went through created the very well from which your future ministry will draw. You are not just chosen, you are prepared. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels unfair, but there's a kind of wisdom that only comes through sorrow. There's a kind of clarity that only comes through the valley. And those who've never walked through pain may shine on the surface, but they lack the depth needed to hold sacred things. You, chosen one, have depth because you have bled, because you have broken, because you have survived what should have destroyed you. And now you're being called to see your pain differently, not as evidence of divine neglect, but of divine preparation. That pain was God's hand shaping your soul to fit a destiny most people could never carry. The shift is here, and those who have walked through the deepest shadows will now be the ones who carry the brightest light. But first, you must forgive the process. You must release the bitterness. You must stop questioning why it had to be this way and begin to ask, what is this pain producing in me? Because pain without purpose becomes poison. But pain with revelation becomes power. If you've felt invisible in your suffering, if you've wondered why others seem to glide through life while you crawl through fire, know this: you've been in training. Not for applause, not for recognition, but for legacy, for impact, for eternity. The shift doesn't select the shiny. It selects the scarred. It selects the ones who've been crushed, because only crushed things release oil. That is you. You are the oil bearer, the one who will anoint others with the same comfort that once rescued you. So don't curse your tears. Don't hide your wounds. Let them be your testimony. Let them be the reason someone else survives. Because in the kingdom, nothing is wasted, not even your pain, especially not your pain. You've been hurt deeply, but now you will heal deeply. And from that healing you will rise. Not just as one who made it through, but as one who now carries the evidence of divine selection. You see, every chosen one reaches a moment when hiding is no longer an option. You've done the inner work, you've walked through the pain, you've sat in the silence, but now the light is calling you forward. And with it comes the test, not of strength, but of surrender, not of performance, but of presence. Will you step into who you truly are, or will you shrink back into the shadows that once kept you safe? The truth is, many of us become comfortable in hiding. It feels like protection. It feels like safety. After all the rejection, after all the misunderstanding, it's easier to stay quiet than to risk being seen again. But hiding becomes a prison, and your light, the one that was meant to heal others, begins to suffocate in the name of false humility. Tell me, chosen one, have you been hiding? Not physically, but spiritually? Have you been dimming yourself to make others comfortable? Silencing your truth because you're afraid of how loud it might sound in a room full of doubt? Are you still trying to look small when you were never designed to blend in? This is the shadow test. The moment where the version of you that survived must make way for the version of you that shines. And this isn't about ego, it's about obedience. Because your light isn't for decoration, it's for direction. There are people walking through the dark right now who are waiting for you to step into your full assignment. And the longer you wait, the longer they wander. But stepping into the light is terrifying, isn't it? Because once you're seen, you can't hide again. Once you stand up, people will form opinions. They'll question your past, they'll doubt your calling, and that fear, that ache to stay invisible, it can feel paralyzing. But listen closely. You were never created to be understood by everyone. You were created to be obedient to the one who called you. And when God calls, He doesn't ask for your resume. He asks for your yes. So this is your moment of reckoning. Are you still hiding behind your wounds, your history, your silence? Or are you ready to be the mirror that reflects heaven on earth? Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more honest ones. It needs souls who carry light with limp, with scars, with humility and truth. You've already been through enough shadow. You've been tested in fire, pressed in darkness, refined in secret. What more proof do you need? What more healing do you think you must earn before you're ready? The truth is, readiness doesn't come before the light. It comes through the light. The moment you step forward, the moment you say yes, the divine begins to fill the space you once tried to cover. Let me speak to your fear. Yes, people might misunderstand you, but you'll finally be understood by yourself. Yes, people may criticize, but heaven will applaud. Yes, you might feel exposed, but you'll never feel more alive. And this isn't about spotlight. This is about spiritual alignment. When you hide your light, you hide God's handiwork. And He's done too much in you to let that happen now. He didn't pull you out of the pit just for you to sit in the back row of your own story. He brought you out so you could become a beacon. So if you're feeling that push, the trembling, holy discomfort, that's the invitation. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for permission. The shift has already started, and heaven is asking, will you let me be seen through you? You've been hiding long enough. You're not who you were. You're who you've become through the breaking, through the silence, through the fire. Let the world see the evidence. Let the shadows fall behind you. Step into the light now. Because the chosen ones were never meant to disappear. They were meant to rise. Chosen one, I need you to hear this with your spirit wide open. Saying no to your divine assignment doesn't erase the calling, but it does carry a cost, not a punishment. God does not strike with wrath. But when you choose to stay hidden, to silence the voice inside, to delay obedience, you feel it in your chest, in your sleep, in the hollowness that grows where passion once lived. You see, destiny isn't a rigid track. It's a living invitation. And when you say no, life continues, but not the one your soul was designed to live. You go through the motions. You smile in public. You keep things stable. But deep down, something aches. Because a chosen one who resists their purpose becomes spiritually restless. No success, no relationship, no comfort can replace the peace that comes from saying yes to God. And the most dangerous part? The longer you say no, the quieter your spirit becomes. Not because the call stops, but because you stop hearing it. You get used to the ache. You call it normal. You stop expecting to feel alive. You settle for survival and call it gratitude. But your soul knows. It always knows. There are many walking around with silent grief, the grief of unlived purpose, of a mission abandoned before it ever took flight. They didn't fall into darkness. They simply said, not yet, too many times. And over time, not yet becomes never. But let me tell you the truth, wrapped in love. Your no doesn't have to be final. If you're still breathing, there is still time. You can choose again. You can shift now. But you must understand, the longer you wait, the heavier the price. And not just for you. There are lives tied to your yes. People waiting on the other side of your obedience. Souls who need what only you carry. So if you've been resisting, if you've been avoiding the nudge, the dream, the divine whisper, let this moment be a turning point. Not from fear, but from freedom. Don't say no because you think you're not ready. God equips who He calls. Don't say no because you feel unworthy. God already chose you knowing everything. Don't say no because of what you've done. The price has already been paid. You've counted the cost of saying yes. Now count the cost of staying still. Your spirit is crying for alignment. Your soul is begging for movement. And heaven is waiting on your word. Say yes now, before the silence becomes your home, before regret becomes your companion. Say yes, and watch the shift open doors no fear could ever close. Chosen one, If you've made it this far, it's not just because you watched a video. It's because your soul recognized a sound, a sacred sound, one that doesn't come through the ears, but through the spirit. You were meant to hear this. These words were always meant to find you, not when you were strong, but now, when you've been questioning, aching, reaching. And that matters. You haven't been forgotten by destiny. You've been remembered by the divine. That ache you've carried, the longing that never seems to leave, that's not weakness. That's your anointing calling you home. You were never meant to just exist. You were born to carry light, and all the silence, the delay, the pain, the waiting, it's been shaping you for this moment. Your yes, right here, right now, still carries power. This wasn't just a message. It was a mantle. And if your heart feels heavy, that's the weight of purpose being reawakened. So don't let this be just another thing you watched. Let it mark you. Let it move you. Let it reintroduce you to the part of yourself that never gave up, even when the world didn't see you. And if this message felt like home, don't walk away quietly. Say something in the spirit. Comment 777 or 1111 below as a sign that your heart has returned to the altar, that you've remembered who you are, that you've said yes again, not a loud yes, not a perfect yes, just an honest one. If you haven't already, subscribe, but not for content, for connection, for continuation, so you always know there's a place waiting for your soul to rest, to remember, to rise again. This space wasn't made to impress you, it was made to find you. Stay close, chosen one. The shift is still unfolding, and this isn't the end of your story. It's the moment everything begins to realign. Whenever the world gets too heavy, this space is here. Come back to rest your soul. You are not too late. You are not too broken. And you were never forgotten. You were chosen. Still chosen. Always chosen.